It's taking little steps every single day. Now, it might sound silly, but sometimes we have to actually make really small changes in our habits. So let's say, for example, you're somebody that wakes up every morning. The first thing that you do is go and brush your teeth, you take a shower, and that's how you start your day. And what you're finding is that throughout the day that don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, you don't have the inspiration to take the actions that you have written down for yourself to hit the goals that you want to achieve over a period of time. So maybe we start to look at, okay, what does that morning routine look like and how we can make slight adjustments to what you're doing every morning to actually set yourself up for success. So some of the things that I've changed in my life over the years is starting my day off listening to other podcasts that are motivational, inspirational, or are really tailored to something that I'm trying to learn or achieve or grow or develop. Welcome to the Life Balance Mentor Podcast with Kurt Warner. Learn how to create balance in your life as a busy entrepreneur. Gain insights into improving and growing your business and establishing routines that help balance all aspects of life. Listen to the Life Balance Mentor Podcast to get the kickstart you need every week. Welcome to another episode of the Life Balance Mentor Podcast. I'm your Life Balance Mentor, Kurt. This week, I want to talk about the challenge that comes with trying to change. Now, as you know, my business is all about helping, successful entrepreneurs, business owners, and individuals actually create balance in life. But part of trying to create balance in life will involve making changes, some of them small, some more significant. What I'm finding with the people that I'm working with is when it comes to changing consistently, there are some difficulties that arise. It's very easy for us to slip into old habits. It's also very easy for us to have the expectation that just because we've created a new plan and a new idea, that we're actually going to be consistent with those changes throughout the rest of our lives. Well, the reality is that we're going to have ups and downs. We've developed patterns and habits for ourselves over our lifetime. So if you're somebody that's, let's say, in your 30s or maybe early 40s, and you've done something the same way for the past 10 to 15 years, we're not going to be able to break those previous habits and make those changes to get to the next level in our lives and our businesses in 1 week. It's going to take time. So how do we actually get there? There are a few strategies that I try to, share with people that I've used myself to kind of help make these changes. And the first one I know I've talked about before, and that's taking action. It's taking little steps every single day. Now, it might sound silly, but sometimes we have to actually make really small changes in our habits. So let's say, for example, you're somebody that wakes up every morning. The first thing that you do is go and brush your teeth, you take a shower, and that's how you start your day. And what you're finding is that throughout the day that don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, you don't have the inspiration to take the actions that you have written down for yourself to hit the goals that you want to achieve over a period of time. So maybe we start to look at, okay, what does that morning routine look like and how we can make slight adjustments to what you're doing every morning to actually set yourself up for success. So some of the things that I've changed in my life over the years is starting my day off listening to other podcasts that are motivational, inspirational, or are really tailored to something that I'm trying to learn or achieve or grow or develop. So for instance, if I'm focused on, let's say, marketing or social media, I may wake up and the first thing I do is put on a podcast or maybe read, some pages of a book or listen to an audiobook that are focused on how to improve my marketing for my business or social media. So another thing that you can do in your morning routine that can be helpful is also meditation. Taking time to actually, before you get out of bed, focus on being quiet and still and really focus on what you want to accomplish in the day. A lot of times thoughts might come through your head where you're, really envisioning what your day is going to look like. So hopefully you've already written down some of those major goals that you have for the day. It could be things like maybe an appointment or a specific meeting that you have. Maybe it's a sales call that you have. Maybe it's a pitch to a new client, that you envision how that goes. and envisioning the success that comes out of that maybe meeting or that sales call with a potential client, or maybe it's wrapping up a major project that you've been working on for the past few weeks or even the past few months. So by getting into that state where you're actually focusing and envisioning success in the day, that already sets your mind up to look at the day as already having a win. So as you then get out of bed and get into the rest of your morning routine and throughout your day, you already have a sense of confidence and accomplishment, even though you actually haven't physically or tangibly done anything yet. So that is something that you can do to really help create some change, is start to look at the habits that you have, the routines that you have throughout any given day, especially in the morning, to help you get that change. The other thing that is really helpful is having some form of accountability. Now, obviously, that can come in the form of a spouse, maybe a partner. It could be a friend. It could be a business partner. It has to be somebody that kind of aligns with your values and that is there to support you and push you. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't have anybody in your circle of friends or family, or you're not working with a mentor or coach that can hold you accountable, I'm sure you have somebody out there that you could say, hey, I'm trying to, lose 10 pounds over the next 2 months. And my goal is to make it to the gym 4 times a week. If I don't make it to the gym 4 times a week, I want you to hold me accountable to do it. And if I don't do that, I'll pay you $100. So that way, that person, although they are not maybe going to the gym with you, maybe they themselves don't even work out or care about working out, but they're going to hold you accountable because there is something in it for them as well. So in order to make change, it's important that we have somebody around us that will hold us accountable, especially through those tough days, those tough times. If you are trying to do this alone, and let's say you have, you know, let's take the example of going to the gym because I think everybody can kind of relate to that. You want to go 4 times a week. And let's say for the first couple weeks, you're able to accomplish that. And then maybe week 3, you go 2 times or 3 times. And maybe because there was a snowstorm like we've had recently this time of year, so you couldn't go one day or 2 days. And then the next week, you're like, well, I went twice last week and I feel pretty good, so I'll go twice this week. And then that 2 times turns to one, then turns to none, and then you're no longer going to the gym. Getting back into that habit on your own can be a challenge. And slipping outside of that habit that you developed over the first couple of weeks of going to the gym on a consistent basis is now kind of a struggle. Like you had that initial reward of you're feeling good and that starts to fade. And so to get back to that, it's like starting over again. And sometimes starting over again can seem like a real uphill battle, a real challenge. Whereas the first time you were motivated and you were excited to do it. So having somebody accountable where you don't fall into slipping is extremely important. Now, if you're somebody that is looking outside of working out, let's say that you have this amazing idea for a new business and you're excited to get started. What happens is the first few, let's say, weeks or months as you're, fresh ideas and you're starting to build your website, you're doing your social media, you're planning out, maybe you're getting product developed, product design, it was all very new and exciting. But once all of that kind of newness is gone and you're now in the midst of running your business, so it's already launched, it's already out there, and maybe you're getting a couple customers here and there to buy your product or service, and then you start to hit a wall because it's not new anymore. And you find out that it is more difficult than you thought it would be initially. I don't know if there's any of you guys out there like me as an entrepreneur, business owner, or even an investor, where you've started on a project and you've already mapped out what the next 5 to 10 years of your business looks like. And then you realize several months in that the path to that, maybe it's a financial goal or a customer goal or a revenue goal or whatever it is actually taking longer than you thought. So you're falling behind your projections. So that can be very discouraging, but how do we fight through that? Again, I think having somebody accountable, so whether that's a business partner that you have with you, maybe it's a spouse or friend, or maybe it's somebody, as I mentioned before, in the workout example, outside of that particular business that maybe you reward financially, or maybe you just provide them with some kind of incentive to, check in with you once a week or once every 2 weeks to make sure you're doing the actions necessary to actually drive the growth needed for your business. Sometimes people think, okay, I have a business plan and that's all you need. Well, that's not the case if you're trying to make a significant change, especially if you're trying to go from being an employee to an entrepreneur or business owner or investor. Having a plan itself honestly means nothing. It's something that you've written down, which is great that you've taken those ideas and those dreams and those visions and put them down on a piece of paper. But until you take the action, until you're willing to actually fight through the tough times to make changes, you really won't be able to succeed. So change can be difficult. I understand that. We all go through it. So don't try to make significant changes on your own. Make sure that you have somebody that's holding you accountable. Make sure you understand and know ahead of time that you will face moments where you might have self-doubt, where things aren't going the way you thought, and that you need to push through them. So with that, everybody, thank you again for listening to the Life Balance Mentor podcast. If you haven't done so already, make sure you like, share, subscribe. These podcasts come out every week, and hopefully they provide some motivation, inspiration for you as you are going on your journey, not only through business, but also through life. So as always, stay balanced. Thank you for listening to Life Balance Mentor Podcast with Kurt Warner. To help create balance in your life, follow me on social media. The links are below in the podcast description. Don't forget to visit the website at lifebalancementor.com. And as always, stay balanced.